Today's strange tale comes from Reddit, from a person who writes, "Be careful of the mods you install on The Sims 4." This is their story. When I want to escape from the world, I boot up Sims 4 and play until my laptop turns the room into a sauna and the blood vessels in my eyes dilate until they look like saffron sprinkled on hard-boiled eggs. Now, I don't do this often, but when I do, I go all in. God, sometimes I've had dreams in Simish after these sessions. A week ago, I had a rough night. Somehow I got demoted at work, even though I clock in a bunch of extra overtime every week. When I went on my lunch break, the Tupperware I'd topped with curry and rice that morning had developed a crack, though which most of my food had slowly dripped to the bottom of the fridge. I spent my lunch cleaning it up, not having enough time to get anything else to eat. When I finally arrived at home, my cat had left me not one, not two, but three puddles of slimy, slightly digested kibble on my living room carpet. And yes, she's fine, just on a rare occasion she does eat her kibble so fast she has a puke-a-thon later, this day, of course, being one of them. Sucky things always seem to stack up, don't they? Feeling sorry for myself, I decided to go full potato mode, sit on the couch and do all the things that comfort me, not moving a muscle. I ordered some of the food online and started to scour the web for the new Sims mods as I waited for the courier's knock at my door. It was a Tuesday evening, so the courier was faster than usual. In the 25 minutes it took him to arrive, I'd downloaded and installed about a dozen mods I'd found at the top of the search results. They were all named stuff like Cooking Mod Extra 1.2 or Careers Plus. I didn't take a deeper look on them on account of the extra fast food delivery, just wanting some new and fun content before my food went cold. The courier dropped by, and with a bucket of chicken leaning against me on the couch and the laptop warming my thighs, I began the session. It felt great. I got really into building this minimal modern house with a large garden that flowed throughout the property, meandering around the sides and opening up into the backyard. I placed flowers and bushes and trees meticulously to accentuate the house, while still leaving a lot of open space around. The new mods were super fun. I got to choose between hundreds of more careers and activities, along with new cooking mechanics and funny things like conflicts between Sims being resolved through dance battles. My laptop wasn't having such a fun time, though. The fan was screaming bloody murder, with the stacks of mods running simultaneously. For a while, I forgot all about my stupid problems and got to exist in a vacuum of my own creation, consisting only of chicken wings and The Sims. I'd been playing for hours, well into the night, when suddenly all the Sims stopped moving. At first I thought it was just a glitch, some hiccup with the frame rate or something. Then they all slowly turned and looked at me. Their heads were cocked up, and their mouths turned into mellow smiles. None of the controls worked on them, and they just kept smiling and staring at me. I was creeped out, but at the same time I didn't want to restart the game yet, since the autosave can be a bit shoddy. I put the game on windowed mode and glanced at the clock on top of my screen. It was exactly 3 a.m. Shit, I thought. It's getting to be a bit late. Better save soon and go to sleep. Then, right as the clock switched to 3:01 a.m., the Sims started moving again. They went about what they had been doing before, except this time their character models were suddenly upside down. They were smiling, but instead of walking, they floated through the house and garden with their heads slightly above the ground. The controls worked again, though, and I saved the game and decided to restart it, hoping that this was just some kind of weird glitch that would resolve itself. I quit the game and booted it up again, and everything seemed normal. Once I loaded up my save, I panicked as I couldn't find any of my Sims, immediately thinking that the save had been corrupted. I zoomed out and frantically searched for the characters. Once I scrolled to the garden, I realized why I hadn't seen them. All of my Sims were dead, laying next to each other in the garden, in a straight line. Some of them had blood spilling out of their necks, others had their guts opened and taken out, scattered across the garden. It was then that I realized that the game had been silent since I booted it up, but now the music started to swell back up. It was one of the main songs from the game, except slowed down, more discordant and harsh, and its volume jumping and up and down erratically. Suddenly, a Sim I'd never seen before walked into the house, through the living room, and into the garden. It stood before the bodies, and I felt like there was something familiar about him. The sim slowly turned around and looked at me like the other ones had before. It waved at me, smiling gently as it did. That weird feeling of familiarity got stronger, but I couldn't put my finger on where it had come from. I clicked on the sim, it instantly occurring to me why I thought he looked familiar. The sim had my exact name as well as my career, and my career is very niche and it would not be something that would be on an unmodded Sims. I looked at the sim again and noticed they had on my exact hairstyle, face shape, as well as my general body type. Then my heart sank and I almost let out a scream as I noticed it was wearing the same clothes I was wearing at the time, blue pajama pants and a gray hoodie. It kept waving and smiling as it stared at me. In an instant, I force quit the game and deleted it and all the mods that I had installed. I'd never had problems with the game before, so I'm suspecting the culprit was one of the new mods I had installed. At the time, I was too freaked out to check and go through them, so I unfortunately have no idea which mod it could have been. After that night, I haven't reinstalled the game, and I'm not planning to do so. I'm posting this as a warning to please check the mods you're about to install before you do so, and also to see if anyone else had had a similar experience. Do you think that this Sims player just accidentally downloaded, a serial killer mod or something like that? But how did it know how he was dressed? And his hairstyle and his body type? That's a little creepy. Well, let me know what you think in the comments. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and have a good night.